इष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। युधिष्ठिर ने पूछा, जनार्दन, मैं स्क्रीन भी शेयर कर देती हूँ। महाराज युधिष्ठिर ने पूछा, जनार्दन, अब मैं यह सुनना चाहता हूँ कि भाद्रपद गुजरात महाराष्ट्र के अनुसार श्रावण मास के कृष्ण पक्ष में कौन सी एकादशी होती है, कृपया बताइए। भगवान श्री कृष्ण बोले, राजन, एक चित्त होकर सुनो। भाद्रपद मास के कृष्ण पक्ष की एकादशी का नाम अजा है। वह सब पापों का नाश करने वाली बताई गई है। भगवान ऋषिकेश का पूजन करके जो इसका व्रत करता है उसके सारे पाप नष्ट हो जाते हैं। पूर्व काल में हरिश्चंद्र नामक एक विख्यात चक्रवर्ती राजा हो गए हैं, जो समस्त भूमंडल के स्वामी और सत्य प्रतिज्ञ थे। एक समय किसी कर्म का फलभोग प्राप्त होने पर उन्हें राज्य से भ्रष्ट होना पड़ा। राजा ने अपनी पत्नी और पुत्र को बेच दिया, फिर अपने को भी बेच दिया। पुण्यात्मा होते हुए भी उन्हें चांडाल की दासता करनी पड़ी। वे मुर्दों का कफन लिया करते थे। इतने पर भी नृपश्रेष्ठ हरिश्चंद्र सत्य से विचलित नहीं हुए। इस प्रकार चांडाल की दासता करते हुए उनके अनेक वर्ष व्यतीत हो गए। इससे राजा को बड़ी चिंता हुई। वे अत्यंत दुखी होकर सोचने लगे, क्या करूं, कहाँ जाऊं, कैसे मेरा उद्धार होगा। इस प्रकार चिंता करते करते वे शोक के समुद्र में डूब गए। राजा को शोकातुर जानकर महर्षि गौतम उनके पास आए। श्रेष्ठ ब्राह्मण को अपने पास आया हुआ देखकर नृपश्रेष्ठ ने उनके चरणों में प्रणाम किया और दोनों हाथ जोड़ गौतम के सामने खड़े होकर अपना सारा दुखमय समाचार कह सुनाया। राजा की बात सुनकर महर्षि गौतम ने कहा, राजन, भादों के कृष्ण पक्ष में अत्यंत कल्याण में अजा नाम की एकादशी आ रही है, जो पुण्य प्रदान करने वाली है। इसका व्रत करो, इससे पाप का अंत होगा। तुम्हारे भाग्य से आज के 7वें दिन एकादशी है। उस दिन उपवास करके रात में जागरण करना। ऐसा कहकर महर्षि गौतम अंतर्धान हो गए। मुनि की बात सुनकर राजा हरिश्चंद्र ने उस उत्तम व्रत का अनुष्ठान किया। उस व्रत के प्रभाव से राजा सारे दुखों से पार हो गए। उनकी पत्नी पुनः प्राप्त हुई और पुत्र का जीवन मिल गया। आकाश में दुंदुभियां बज उठी, देवलोक से फूलों की वर्षा होने लगी। एकादशी के प्रभाव से राजा ने निष्कंटक राज्य प्राप्त किया और अंत में वे पुरजन तथा परिजनों के साथ स्वर्ग लोक को प्राप्त हो गए। राजा युधिष्ठिर, जो मनुष्य ऐसा व्रत करता है वह सब पापों से मुक्त हो स्वर्गलोक में जाते हैं। इसके पढ़ने और सुनने से अश्वमेध यज्ञ का फल प्राप्त होता है। हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So let's start with the भजन संध्या। खुशी माता जी, आई होप आप रेडी हैं स्क्रीन शेयर करने के लिए। तभी जितने लोग आए हम लोग स्टार्ट कर देते हैं, क्योंकि फिर और लेट हो जाएंगे। आई थिंक टाइम 7:30 का था, शायद 7:30 का टाइम था। हम लोगों ने जल्दी स्टार्ट कर दिया है।
नहीं माता जी, 7:30 का टाइम था,
है ना? तो क्या किया जाए? या तो हम कुछ रीडिंग कर सकते हैं आधे घंटे, या तो फिर अभी एंड करके 7:30 पे स्टार्ट करते हैं। बोलिए बोलिए, क्या करना चाहिए? रीड। ठीक है, तो आप लोग रीडिंग कीजिए, मुझे आरती करने जाना है। सो मैं ज्वाइन करती हूँ 15-20 मिनट बाद। होस्ट बना देती हूँ खुशी माता जी को। हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
मैं स्क्रीन शेयर कर देती हूँ। मोहिता माता जी, आप रीड कर सकते हैं।
Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna. Once the world was overburdened by the unnecessary defense force of different kings who were actually demons but were posing themselves as the royal order. At that time, the whole world became perturbed, and the predominating deity of this earth, known as Bhumi, went to see Lord Brahma to tell of her calamities due to the demonic kings. Bhumi assumed the shape of a cow and presented herself before Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes. She was bereaved and was weeping just to invoke the Lord compassion. She related the calamitous position of the earth, and after hearing this, the Lord Brahma became so much aggrieved that he at once started for the ocean of milk where Lord Vishnu resides. Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the demigods, headed by Lord Shiva, and Bhumi also followed. Arriving on the shore of the milk ocean, Lord Brahma began to pacify Lord Vishnu, who had formerly saved the earthly planet by assuming the transcendental form of a boar. In the Vedic mantras, there is a particular type of prayer called Purusha Sukta. Generally, the demigods offer their obeisances unto Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by chanting the Purush Sukta. It is understood herein that the predominating deity of every planet can see the Supreme Lord of this universe, Brahma, whenever there is some disturbance on his planet. And Brahma can approach the Supreme Lord Vishnu not by seeing him directly, but by standing on the shore of the ocean of milk. There is a planet within this universe called Shwedweep. On that planet there is an ocean of milk. It is understood from various Vedic literatures that just as there is the ocean of salt waters on this planet, there are various kinds of oceans on other planets. Somewhere there is an ocean of milk, somewhere there is an ocean of oil, and somewhere there is ocean of liquor and of many other types of liquids. The Purusha Sukta is the standard prayer which the god is the standard prayer which the demigods recite to appease the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uh, Kshirodakshe Vishnu, because he is lying on the ocean of milk. He is called Kshirodakshe Vishnu. He is he is this form of Supreme Personality of Godhead through whom all the incarnations within this universe appear. And after all, the demigods offered the Purush Sukta prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They apparently heard no response. Then Lord Brahma personally sat in meditation, and there was a message transmission from Lord Vishnu to Brahma. Brahma then broadcast the message to the demigods. That is the system of receiving Vedic knowledge. The Vedic knowledge is received first by Brahma from the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of the heart. As stated in beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Teen Brahma Hridaya Ya Adi Kevaye. The transcendental knowledge of the Vedas was transmitted to Lord Brahma through the heart. Here also, in the same way, only Brahma could understand the message transmitted by Lord Vishnu, and he broadcast it to the demigods for their immediate action. The message was this: the Supreme Personality of Godhead would appear on the earth very soon, along with his supreme power potencies, as long as he remained on the earth planet to execute his mission of annihilating the demons and establishing the devotees. The demigods should also remain there to assist him. They should all immediately take birth in the family of Yadu dynasty, wherein the Lord would also appear in the due course of time. The Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Krishna, would personally appear as the son of Vasudeva. Before his appearance, all the demigods, along with their wives, should appear in different pious families in the world just to assist the Lord in executing his mission. The exact word used here is tat priyartham, which means the demigod should appear on the earth in order to please the Lord. In the other words, any living entity who lives only to satisfy the Lord is a demigod. The demigod were further informed that Ananta, the plenary portion of Lord Krishna, who is maintaining the universal planets by extending his millions of hoods, would also appear on earth before Lord Krishna's appearance. They were also informed that the external potency of Vishnu, Maya, with whom all the conditioned souls are enamored, would also appear by the order of the Supreme Personality just to execute his purpose. After instructing and pacifying all the demigods as well as Bhumi with sweet words, Lord Brahma, the father of all the Prajapatis or progenitors of the universal population, departed for his own abode, the highest material planet called Brahmalok. The leader of Yadu dynasty, King Surashen, was ruling over the country known as Mathura, wherein lies the city of Mathura, as well as the district known as Surashen, which was named after him. On account of the rule of King Surashen, Mathura became the capital of all the kings of the Yadus. Mathura was also made the capital of the kings of the Yadu dynasty because the Yadus were a very pious family and knew that Mathura is the place where Lord Sri Krishna lives eternally, just as he also lives in Dwarka. Once upon a time, Vasudev, the son of Surashsen, just after marrying Devaki, was going home on his chariot with his newly wedded wife. The father of Devaki, known as Devaka, had contributed a sufficient dowry because he was very affectionate towards his daughter. He had contributed hundreds of chariots completely decorated with gold equipment. And at that time, Kans, the son of Ugrasen, in order to please his sister Devaki, had voluntarily taken the reins of the horses of Vasudev's chariot and was driving. According to the custom of the Vedic civilization, when a girl is married, the brother takes the sister and the brother in law to their home. Because the newly married because the married girl may feel too much separation from her father's family, the brother goes with her until she reaches her father-in-law's house.
ओके, कोई और डिवोटी रीड करना चाहेंगे? यहाँ से रीड कर सकते हैं। श्रेया माता जी।
जी माता जी। The full dowry contributed by Devika was as follows: 400 elephants fully decorated with golden garlands, 15,000 decorated horses, and 1,800 chariots. He also arranged for 200 beautiful girls to follow his daughter. The Kshatriya system of marriage, still current in India, dictates that when a Kshatriya is married, a few dozen of the bride's young girlfriends, in addition to the bride, go to the house of the king. The followers of the queen are called maidservants, but actually they act as friends of the queen. This practice is prevalent from time immemorial, traceable at least to the time before the advent of Lord Krishna's 5,000 years ago. So Vasudev brought home another 200 beautiful girls along with his wife Devaki. While the bride and bridegroom were passing along on the chariot, there were different kinds of musical instruments playing to indicate the auspicious moment. There were conch shells, bugles, drums, and kettle drums combined together. They were vibrating a nice concert. The procession was passing very pleasingly, and Kansa was driving the chariot when suddenly there was a miraculous sound vibrated from the sky, which especially announced to Kansa, Kansa, you are such a fool. You are driving the chariot of your sister and your brother-in-law, but you do not know that the eighth child of this sister will kill you. Kansa was the son of Ugrasen of the Bhoja dynasty. It is said that Kansa was the most demonic of all the Bhoja dynasty kings. Immediately after hearing the prophecy from the sky, he caught hold of Devki's hair and was just about to kill her with his sword. Vasudev was astonished at Kansa's behavior, and in order to pacify the cruel, shameless brother-in-law, he began to speak as follows. With great with great reason and evidence, he said, my dear brother-in-law Kansa, you are the most famous king of the Bhoja dynasty, and people know that you are the greatest warrior and a valiant king. How is it that you are How is it that you are so infuriated that you are prepared to kill a woman who is your own sister at this auspicious time of her marriage? Why should you be so much afraid of death? Death is already born along with your birth. From the very day you took your birth, you began to die. Suppose you are 25 years old. That means you have already died 25 years. Every moment, every second, you are dying. Why then should you be so much afraid of death? Final death is inevitable. You may die either today or in 100 years. You cannot avoid death. Why should you be so much afraid? Actually, death means annihilation of the present body. As soon as the present body stops functioning and mixes with the five elements of material nature, the living entity within the body accepts another body. According to his present actions and reactions, it is just like when a man walks on the street, he puts forward his foot, and when he is confident that his foot is situated on sound ground, he lifts the other foot. In this way, one after another, the body changes and the soul transmigrates. See how the plantworms change from one twig to another so carefully. Similarly, the living entity changes his body as soon as the higher authorities decide on his next body. As long as a living entity is conditioned within his material world, he must take material bodies one after another. His next particular body is offered by the law of nature, according to the actions and reactions of this life. This body is exactly like one of the bodies which we always see in dreams. During our dream of sleep, we create so many bodies according to mental creation. We have seen gold and we have also seen a mountain. So, in a dream, we can see a golden mountain by climbing the two ideas, combining the two ideas. Complete, no. Sometimes in dreams, we see that we have a body which is flying in the sky, and at that time, we completely forget our present body. Similarly, these bodies are changing. When you have one body, you forget the past body. During a dream, we may make contact with so many new kinds of body, but when we are awake, we forget them all. And actually, these material bodies are the creation of our mental activities. But at the present moment, we do not recollect our past bodies. The nature of the mind is flickering. Sometimes it accepts something and immediately it rejects the same thing. Accepting and rejecting is the process of the mind in contact with the five objects of sense gratification: form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. In its speculative way, the mind comes in touch with the object of sense gratification, and when the living entity desires a particular type of body, he gets it. Therefore, the body is an offering by the laws of material nature. The living entity accepts a body and comes out again into the material world to enjoy or suffer according to the construction of the body. Unless we have a particular type of body, we cannot enjoy or suffer according to our mental proclivities. Um, Inherited from the previous life, the particular type of body is actually offered to us according to our mental condition at the time of death.
यस थैंक यू माता जी। कोई और रीड करेंगे?
मैं पढ़ूं माता जी? हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। The luminous planets like
यस माता।
Thank you. The luminous planets like the sun, moon, or stars reflect themselves in different types of reservoirs, like water, oil, or ghee. The reflection moves according to the movement of the reservoirs. The reflection of the moon is on the water, and the moving water makes the moon also appear to be moving, but actually the moon is not moving. Similarly, by mental concoction, the living entity attains different kinds of bodies, although actually he has no connection with such bodies. But on account of illusion, being enchanted by the influence of Maya, the living entity thinks that he belongs to a particular type of body. That is the way of conditions life. Suppose the living entity is now a human form of the body. He thinks that he belongs to the human community or a particular country or a particular place. He identifies himself in that way and unnecessarily prepares for another body which is not required by him. Such desires and mental concoctions are the cause of different types of bodies. The covering influence of a material nature is so strong that the living entity is satisfied in whatever body he gets, and he identifies with that body with a great pleasure. Therefore, I beg to request you not to be overwhelmed by the detection of your mind and body. Vasudeva thus requested Krishna not to be envious, Kamsa, not to be envious of his newly married sister, or one should not be envious of anyone, because envy is the cause of fear both in this world and in this next. When one is before Yamraja, the Lord of Punishment, after death, Vasudeva appealed to Kamsa on behalf of Devaki, stating that she was his younger sister. He also appealed at an auspicious moment. At the time of marriage, a younger sister or brother is supposed to be protected as one child. The position is overall so delicate. Vasudeva reasoned that if you kill her, it will go against your high reputation. In this way, Vasudeva tried to pacify Kamsa by good instruction as well as by philosophical discrimination. But Kamsa was not to be pacified because his association was demonic. Because of his demonic association, he was a demon, although born in a very high royal family. A very high royal family. A demon never cares for any good instruction. He is just like a determined thief. One can give him moral instruction, but it will not be effective. Similarly, those who are demonic or aesthetic by nature can hardly assimilate any good instruction, however authorized it may be. That is the difference between demigods and demons. Those who can accept a good instruction and try to live their lives in that way are called demigods, and those who are unable to take such good instruction are called demons.
हरी बोल। थैंक यू माता जी। ऋषिता माता जी, आप रीड करेंगे?
Yes, Mataji. Failing in, failing in his attempt to pacify Kamsa, Vasudeva wondered how he would protect his wife Devki. When there is imminent danger, an intelligent person should try to avoid the dangerous position as far as possible. But if, in spite of endeavoring by all the intelligence, one fails to avoid the dangerous position, there is no fault on his part. One should try his best to execute his duties, but if the attempt fails, he is not at fault. Vasudeva thought of his wife as follows: for the present, let me save the life of Devki. Then later on, if there are children, I shall see how to save them. He further thought, if in the future I get a child who can kill Kams, just as Kans is thinking, then both Devki and the child will be saved, because the law of providence is inconceivable. But now, some way or other, let me save the life of Devki. There is no certainty how a living entity contacts a certain type of body, just as there is no certainty how a blazing fire comes in contact with a certain type of wood in the forest. When there is a forest fire, it is experienced that the blazing fire sometimes leaps over one tree and catches another by the influence of the wind. Similarly, a living entity may be very careful in the matter of executing his duties, but it is still very difficult for him to know what type of body he is going to get in the next life. Maharaj's realization Maharaj Bharat was very faithful, executing the duties for self realization, but by chance he developed temporary affection for a deer, and in his next life he had to accept the body of a deer. Vasudev, Va- Vasudev was deliberating on how to save his wife, began to speak to Kans with great respect. Although Kans was the most sinful man, sometimes it happens that a most uh, person virtuous person like Vasudev has to flatter a person like Kams, a most vicious person. That is the way of all diplomatic transactions. Although Vasudev was deeply aggrieved, he smiled outwardly. He addressed the shameless Kans in that way because he was so atrocious. Vasudev said to Kans, my dear brother-in-law, please consider that you have no danger from your sister. You are awaiting some danger because you have heard a prophetic voice in the sky. But the danger is to come from the son of your sister, who are not present now. And who knows, there are many or may not be sons in the future. Considering all this, you are safe for the present, nor in their cause or fear from your sister. If there are any sons born, if there are any son born of her, I promise that I shall present all of them to you for necessary action. Kans knew the value of Vasudev's word of honor, and he was convinced by his argument. For the time being, he desisted from the heinous killing of his sister. Thus, Vasudev was pleased and praised the decision of Kans. In this way, he returned to his home. Each year thereafter, in due course of time, Devki gave birth to a child. Thus, she gave birth to 8 male children as well as one daughter. When the first son was born, Vasudev kept his word of honor and immediately brought the child before Kans. It is said that Vasudev was very much elevated and famous for his word of honor, and he wanted to maintain this fame. Although it was very painful for Vasudev to hand over the newly born child, Kansa was very very glad to receive him, but he became a little compassionate with the behavior of Vasudev. This event is this event is very exemplary. For a great soul like Vasudev, there is nothing considered to be painful in the course of discharging one's duty. A learned person like Vasudev carries out his duties without hesitation. On the other hand, a demon like Kans never hesitate in committing any cons- on the other hand, a demon like Kans never hesitate in committing any ab- abnormal ab-
Abominable action. It is
without
said, therefore, that a saintly person. Yes, यहाँ से read करिए.
can tolerate
माता जी आपकी
can
वॉइस नहीं आ रही. हाँ बोलिए.
can tolerate all kinds of miserable condition of life. A learned man can discharge his duties without awaiting favorable circumstances. A heinous person like Kans can act in any sinful way, and a devotee can sacrifice everything to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead.
ठीक है, अब मैं read कर देती हूँ. Kamsa became satisfied by the action of Vasudev. He was surprised to see Vasudev keeping his promise, and being compassionate upon him and pleased, he began to speak as follows. My dear Vasudev, you need not present this child to me. I am not in danger from this child. I have heard that the eighth child born of you and Devki will kill me. Why should I accept this child unnecessarily? You can take him back. When Vasudev was returning home with his firstborn child, although he was pleased by the behavior of Kamsa, he could not believe in him because he knew that Kamsa was uncontrolled. An atheistic person cannot be firm in his word of honor. One who cannot control the senses cannot be steady in his determination. The great politician Chanakya Pandit said, never put your trust in a diplomat or a woman. Those who are addicted to unrestricted sense gratification can never be truthful, nor can they be trusted with any faith. At that time, the great sage Narad came to Kamsa. He was informed of Kamsa's becoming compassionate to Vasudev and returning his firstborn child. Narad was very eager to accelerate the descent of Lord Krishna as soon as possible. He therefore informed Kamsa that Vrindavan personalities like Nand Maharaj and all the other cowherd men and their wives, and on the other side Vasudev, his father Sursen, and all his relatives born in the family of Vrish, Vrini, Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty, along with all their friends and well wishers, were actually demigods. Narad warned Kamsa to be careful of them, since Kamsa and his friends and advisors were all demons. Demons are always afraid of demigods. After being thus informed by Narad about the appearance of the demigods in different families, Kamsa at once became very much alarmed. He understood that since the demigods had already appeared, Lord Vishnu must be coming soon. He at once arrested both his brother in law Vasudev and Devaki and put them behind prison bars. Within the prison, shackled in iron chains, Vasudev and Devaki gave birth to a male child year after year. And Kamsa, thinking each of the babies to be the incarnation of Vishnu, killed them one after another. He was particularly afraid of the eighth child. But after the visit of Narad, he came to the conclusion that any child might be Krishna. Therefore, it was better to kill all the babies who took birth from Devaki and Vasudev. This action of Kamsa is not very difficult to understand. In the history of the world, there are many instances in the history of the world of persons in the royal order who have killed their father, brother, or whole family and friends for the satisfaction of their ambitions. There is nothing astonishing about this, for members of the demoniac, greedy royal order can kill anyone for their nefarious ambitions. Kamsa was made aware of his previous birth by the grace of Narad. He learned that in his previous birth he had been a demon of the name Kalanemi and that he had been killed by Vishnu. Having now taken his birth in the Bhoj family, he decided to become the deadly enemy of Yadu dynasty. Krishna was going to take birth in that family, and Kamsa was very much afraid that he would be killed by Krishna, just as he had been killed in his last birth. He first of all imprisoned his father Ugrasen because he was the chief king among the Yadu, Bhoj, and An- uh, Andhaka dynasties, and he also occupied the kingdom of Surasen, Vasudev's father. Vasudev's father. He declared himself the king of all such places. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the first chapter of Krishna, the advent of Lord Krishna. कृष्णा बुक की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। तो ये बहुत अच्छा है कि हम हर एकादशी ऐसे एक चैप्टर पढ़ सकते हैं कृष्णा बुक का और फिर हम भजन संध्या स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। सो नाउ वी कैन स्टार्ट। मोहिता माता जी, यू कैन टेक ओवर।
Hare Krishna and happy Ekadashi to all the Matajis. Pancham Pranam. So first, who will be singing? Rishita Mataji, will you be singing? You can share the song in the chat box. I'll be sharing the screen. Hare Krishna, Rishita Mataji. I think she is not able to hear. Okay, Shreya Mataji, you can share the song.
Krishnamayi Radha.
Okay.
माता जी, should I share?
Okay, Mataji.
माता जी हिंदी में ही कर दीजिए, हिंदी में ज्यादा अच्छे से समझ में आता है। ओके। हरे कृष्णा। कृष्ण प्रेममयी राधा, राधा प्रेममयो हरि। कृष्ण प्रेममयी राधा, राधा प्रेममयो हरि। जीवन राधा कृष्ण गते ममा जीवन नित्या राधा कृष्ण गते ममा कृष्णस्य दिव्यं राधा, राधाय द्रविणं हरे। कृष्णस्य द्रविणं राधा, राधाय द्रविणं हरे। जीवन राधा कृष्ण गते ममा कृष्ण प्राणमयी राधा, राधा प्राणमयो हरि। कृष्ण प्राणमयी राधा, राधा प्राणमयो हरि जीवन राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण द्रव्यमयी राधा राधा द्रव्यमयो हरि कृष्ण द्रव्यमयी राधा राधा द्रव्यमयो हरि जीवन नित्या राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण गेह स्थिता राधा राधा गेह स्थितो हरि कृष्ण गेह स्थितो राधा राधा गेह स्थितो हरि जीवन नित्या राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम जीवन नित्या राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण चित्त स्थित राधा राधा चित्त स्थितो हरि कृष्ण चित्त स्थितो राधा राधा चित्त स्थितो हरि जीवन नित्या राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम नीलांबरधरा राधा पीतांबरधरो हरि नीलांबरधरा राधा पीतांबरधरो हरि जीवन नित्या राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम जीवन नित्या राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम वृंदावनेश्वरी राधा कृष्ण वृंदावनेश्वरा हरि वृंदावनेश्वरी राधा कृष्ण वृंदावनेश्वरा जीवन नित्या राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम जीवन नित्या राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम थैंक यू हरे कृष्णा
Thank you so much, Mataji. Beautifully sung. And आप ट्रांसलेट करेंगे क्या, मतलब अनुवाद?
नो माता जी, मैंने ट्रांसलेशन रीड नहीं किया है, इसीलिए मैं ट्रांसलेशन कर नहीं पाऊंगी।
ओके ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम। प्रतिभा माताजी भी आपके उससे गाएंगे भजन?
हाँ, एक्चुअली उनको भी गाना था।
ओके ओके, सो शी कैन टेक ओवर।
ओके
माताजी कौन सा भजन गा रहे हैं?
आप कौन सा भजन गा रहे हैं माँ? भजहूँ रे मन, श्री नंद नंदन।
ओके माताजी। Yes, Mataji can start.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरणर बिंदरे भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरणर बिंदरे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तारा हरि भव सिंदूरे भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन सीता तप बात बरी छड़ सीता तप बात बरी शर ए दिन जामिने जागीरे विफल से बिनु कृपण दुर्जन विफल से बिनु कृपण दुर्जन अपल सुख लागिरे भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरण बिंद दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत संगे तार सिंदूरे भजहु रे मन ईधन यौवन पुत्र परिजन ईधन यौवन पुत्र परिजन इत कियाच प्रीति रे कमल दल जल जीवन तल मल कमल दल जल जीवन तल मल भजहु पद नीति रे भजहु हरि पद नीति रे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण बंदन श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण बंदन पाद सेवा दास रे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण बंदन पाद सेवा दास रे पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन गोविंद दास की लास रे भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन भजहु रे मन श्री नंद नंदन अभय चरण बिंदरे भजहु रे मन हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
ओ कृष्णा, ब्यूटीफुली संग माता जी। आप अनुवाद करेंगे इसका? या आप रीड करना चाहते हैं हिंदी में अनुवाद?
लगा दीजिए, मेरे मोबाइल दो ना, उसमें अच्छे से दिया हुआ। माता जी इसका पूरा अनुवाद देना है। हरे
यस
कृष्णा,
माता
एक सेकंड।
हरे
ठीक है,
कृष्णा
मैं
माता जी, रीड कर दीजिए बस।
ठीक है माता जी, ओके। हरे कृष्णा। हे मन, तुम केवल नंद नंदन के अभय प्रदानकारी चरण रविंद का भजन करो। इस दुर्लभ मनुष्य जन्म को पाकर संत जनों के संग द्वारा भव सागर तर जाओ। मैं दिन रात जागकर सर्दी गर्मी आंधी तूफान वर्षा में पीड़ित होता रहा। क्षण भर के सुख हेतु मैंने व्यर्थ ही दुष्ट तथा कृपण लोगों की सेवा की। सारी संपत्ति, यौवन, पुत्र, परिजनों में भी वास्तविक सुख का क्या भरोसा है। यह जीवन कमल के पत्ते पर स्थित पानी की बूंद जैसा अस्थिर है। अतः तुझे सदा भगवान भी हरि की सेवा व भजन करना चाहिए। गोविंद दास की यह चिर अभिलाषा है कि वह भक्ति की निम्नलिखित 9 विधियों में संलग्न हो: श्रवण, कीर्तन, स्मरण, बंधन, पाद सेवन, दास्य, पूजन, सांख्य एवं आत्मनिवेदन। हरे कृष्णा। हो
Okay,
गया
thank you
माताजी।
so much, Mataji. Okay, so Rishita Mataji is not responding. I guess she is not there, or she is not able to hear us. So Poonam Mataji, can you sing? Okay,
Mataji, I'm
Rishita
sharing
Mataji.
Krishna Ashtakam.
Who is singing?
Nav Kishori Mataji.
Okay, okay, ठीक है माताजी।
हरे
ये
कृष्ण
गाएंगे
माताजी।
आप? यही है वो?
जी जी।
जी माताजी।
हरे कृष्ण। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय।
माताजी हिंदी में लगाऊं कि इंग्लिश में?
हिंदी में चलेगा माताजी, कोई बात नहीं।
ठीक। हिंदी।
थैंक यू माताजी। हरे कृष्ण। धन्यवाद। वसु
स्टार्ट करिए माताजी।
माताजी मैं इसका ट्यून भूल गई हूँ। मैं वे जे अनिलो गा लूं?
हाँ माताजी।
जी, क्योंकि मैंने अभी गाया था लेकिन मैं भूल गई उसका ट्यून ही।
नो प्रॉब्लम।
जी। हरे कृष्ण। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। मैं यहीं से गा लूं माताजी? हिंदी में गाऊं या इसमें ही?
हिंदी का माताजी इसमें दिखा नहीं रहा है।
जी
इसी
जी,
से गा।
मैंने देखा वो बंगाली दिख रहा है। जी ओके। जिहनिलो प्रेमदन करुणा प्रचुर, जिहनिलो प्रेमदन करुणा प्रचुर, हेनो प्रभु कोटा गेला आचार्य ठाकुर, हेनो प्रभु कोटा गेला आचार्य ठाकुर, कहाँ मोरा स्वरूप रूपा, कहाँ सनातन, कहाँ मेरा स्वरूप रूपा, कहाँ सनातन, कहाँ दशा रघुनाथ पतित पावन, जिहनिलो प्रेमदान करुणा प्रचुर, कहाँ मोरा भट्टा जोगा, कहाँ कबीरा, कहाँ मोरा भट्टा जोगा, कहाँ कबीरा, एका कवी कोटा गेला गोरा नटरा, जिहनिलो प्रेमदान करुणा प्रचोर पासारे कुटिबो माथा आनले पसिबो पासारे कुटिबो माथा आनले पसिबो गौरांगा गुणिरानीती कोठा गेले बाबो जियनिलो प्रेमदाना करुणा प्रचोर से सबा संगीरा संगे जे कोई लोभिला जे सबा संगीरा संगे जे कोई लोभिला से संगान पैया कंडे नरोत्तम दास जे अनिलो प्रेमदाना करुणा प्रचोर हेनो प्रभु कोठा गेला आचार्य ठाकुर जे अनिलो प्रेमदाना करुणा प्रचोर। हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरि बोल। सो ब्यूटीफुल माता जी, आपकी वॉइस इतनी सुंदर है, ऐसा लगता है सुनते जाए, एकदम ट्रांसेंडेंटल। सच में इतना नरिशिंग है ये भजन। इसका
थैंक यू माता जी।
ट्रांसलेशन आप पढ़ देंगे माता जी कि मैं रीड कर दूं?
हाँ, मैं इंग्लिश में ही पढ़ूँ या हिंदी में?
हिंदी इसमें दिखा नहीं रहा, आपके पास है हिंदी?
हिंदी मेरे पास, लेकिन मैं ट्रांसलेट कर देती हूँ।
जी।
जो प्रेम भक्ति का मतलब मैं इंग्लिश ही बोल देती हूँ, चलो। He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, whereas such a personality as Advaita Acharya gone, whereas my Swarupa Damodara and Rupa Goswami, where is Sanatana, where is Raghunatha Dasa, the savior of the fallen, where are my Raghunatha Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta, and where is Krishna Dasa Kaviraja, where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees, in whose association he performed his pastime, Narottama Dasa simply weeps. Hare Krishna Mata ji.
हरि बोल। माता जी इतनी इंस्पायरिंग है। माता जी हम सबसे बड़ी हैं, फिर भी हमारे सेशंस ज्वाइन करते हैं, मैं अप्रिशिएट करती हैं, इतने अच्छे से अपना साधु संग देती है। थैंक यू सो मच माता जी। ओके,
थैंक यू माता जी। कुछ बड़ी नहीं हूँ, ऐसे ही मुझे अच्छा लगता है आप लोगों के साथ रीड करना। आप लोग कितने छोटे भी फिर भी कितना अच्छा बोलते हैं, कितना अच्छा पढ़ते हैं, इसलिए मैंने पूछा था कि मैं ज्वाइन करूँ आपके साथ।
छोटे है माता जी, बस आप कृपा करिए, आप प्रार्थना करिए हमारे लिए। ओके, मोहिता माता जी आप कौन सा गाएंगे?
राधा कुंड तट कुंज।
हरि बोल। राधा कुंड
Yes.
name itself is so beautiful. Yes माता जी, you can start.
Okay, Hare Krishna. राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटी, राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर, गोवर्धन पर्वत जमुना तीर, गोवर्धन पर्वत जमुना तीर, राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर, राधाकुण्ड तट कुञ्ज कुटीर कुसुम सरोवर मानस गंगा कुसुम सरोवर मानस गंगा कलिंद नंदनी विपुल तरंगा कलिंद नंदनी विपुल तरंगा राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर वंशीवट गोकुल धीर समीर वंशीवट गोकुल धीर समीर वृंदावन तरु लतिक पनीर वृंदावन तरु लतिक पनीर राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर हग मृग कोला मालय बातास हग मृग कोला मालय बातास मयूरा भ्रमर मुरली विलास मयूरा भ्रमर मुरली विलास राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर वेणु शृंग पद छिन्ना मेघमाला वेणु शृंग पद छिन्ना मेघमाला वसंत शशांक शंख करताला वसंत शशांक शंख करताला राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर युगल विलास अनुकूल जानी युगल विलास अनुकूल जानी लीला विलासे उदीपक मानी लीला विलासे उदीपक मानी राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर ये सब छाड़ोता कहीं नहीं जाऊं ये सब छोड़ा तो कहीं नहीं जाऊं ये सब छोड़ तो प्राण हराऊं ये सब छोड़ तो प्राण हराऊं राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर भक्ति विनोद को है सुन काना भक्ति विनोद को है सुन काना तो वह उड़ी पका हमारा प्राण तो वह उड़ी पका हमारा प्राण राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर राधा कुंड तट कुंज कुटीर।
हरी हरी बोल। बहुत सुंदर माता जी, बहुत ही सुंदर। पूरा वृंदावन का स्मरण हो रहा है इस भजन से। कहाँ से लाते हैं आप लोग इतने अच्छे अच्छे भजन। ओके, आप इसका ट्रांसलेशन रीड करेंगे कि शॉर्ट में एक्सप्लेन करेंगे?
यस माता जी, शॉर्ट में एक्सप्लेन कर देती हूँ। एक्चुअली ये आज ही मैंने रसानंद प्रभु जी की प्लेलिस्ट में ये सॉन्ग देखा था,
हरी
उनने
हरी बोल।
संग किया था। ऑब्वियसली उनकी ट्यून तो मैं कॉपी नहीं कर पाई, लेकिन मैंने कोशिश करी अमरीन्द्र प्रभु जी की ट्यून कॉपी करने की। सो इसमें पूरे भजन में वृंदावन की ग्लोरिफिकेशन, जहाँ कृष्ण रहते हैं, उस नदी का, उस माउंटेन का, एक एक जगह का भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय ग्लोरिफिकेशन करते हैं। और भक्ति विनोद जी कहते हैं कि ओ कृष्णा, Your entourage and paraphernalia stimulate remembrance of you, and you are very source of my life. मतलब कृष्ण बताते हैं कि भक्ति विनोद बताते हैं कि कृष्णा से जुड़ी हुई जो भी चीज है, कृष्णा के जुड़ी हुई चीजों के बिना डिवोशनल सर्विस इनकम्प्लीट है. वी हैव टू बी देयर इन वृंदावन टू सर्व कृष्णा. मतलब कृष्णा का ग्लोरिफिकेशन विदाउट द ग्लोरिफिकेशन ऑफ वृंदावन इज इनकम्प्लीट. सो
वेरी बोल, सो ब्यूटीफुल. ओके, और कोई गाएंगे? और कुछ गाएंगे? और भी कुछ गाना हो तो गा सकते हैं.
ऋषिता माता जी बचे थे.
माता जी गाएंगे आप?
यस माता जी.
कौन सा?
सुधा भक्त चरण रेणु.
जस्ट अ सेकंड.
माता जी मैं स्टार्ट. माता जी shall I start?
यस माता जी, स्टार्ट.
सुधा भक्ता चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला. सुधा भक्ता चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला. भगत सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेम लति कर मूला. भगत सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेम लति कर मूला. माधव तीति भक्ति जननी जतन पालन कोरी. माधव तीति भक्ति जननी जतन पालन कोरी. कृष्ण बसती बसती बोली परम आदर गोरी. कृष्ण बसती बसती बोली परम आदर गोरी. गौर हमारा जे सब स्थाने तोरा लो ब्रह्मन रांगे. गौर हमारा जे सब स्थाने तारो लो ब्रह्मन रांगे. ते सब स्थाने हरि बोआनी प्रणय भक्त संगे. ते सब स्थाने हरि बोआनी प्रणय भक्त संगे. मृदंग बाद्य सुनित मन अवसर सदा जाते. मृदंग बाद्य सुनित मन अवसर सदा जाते. गौर विहिता कीर्तन सुनी आनंद हृदय नाचे. गौर विहिता कीर्तन सुनी आनंद हृदय नाचे. जुगल मूर्ति देखिए मोरा परम आनंद होया. जुगल मूर्ति देखिए मोरा परम आनंद होया. प्रसाद जे दिन गृहे भजन देखी रहत गोलोक भाया। जे दिन गृहे भजन देखी रहत गोलोक भाया। चरण सिंधु देखिय गंगा सुखन सीमा पाया। चरण सिंधु देखिय गंगा सुखन सीमा पाया। तुलसी देखी जरय प्राण माधव तो स्तन जानी। तुलसी देखी जरय प्राण माधव तो स्तन जानी। गौर प्रिया सकस वाने जीवन सार्थक मानी। गौर प्रिया सकस वाने जीवन सार्थक मानी। भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण भजने अनुकूल पाय जाहा। भक्ति विनोद कृष्ण भजने अनुकूल पाय जाहा। प्रतिदेव से प्रणव सुखे स्वीकार करोयता। प्रतिदेव से प्रणव सुखे स्वीकार करोयता। सुधा भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला। सुधा भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूला। भक्त सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलती कर मूला। भगत सेवा परम सिद्धि प्रेमलती कर मूला। कृष्ण
हरि बोल। वेरी नाइस माता जी। ओके, तो हम एंड करें फिर माता जी यहीं पे।
माता जी, you are left.
अरे माता जी कहाँ, आप लोग ने इतना अच्छा गाया, मैं गा के सब फीका हो जाएगा।
अरे नहीं माता जी, we are waiting for you. Special ones always comes at last, you know
नो
ना?
नो माता जी, ठीक है,
We
मैं कोशिश करती, वैसे मेरा गला ठीक नहीं है, पर ठीक है, आप लोग कहते हैं तो।
मैं
हरे
शेयर
कृष्ण।
करूंगा माता जी स्क्रीन।
माता जी हो रहा है स्क्रीन शेयर?
हाँ माता जी, हो रहा है।
ठीक है, हरे कृष्ण। हे बार करुणा करो वैष्णव गोसा, पतित पावन तुमार बिने के हो न। जहाँ निकटे के लिए पाप दूर जा, हे मन दयाल प्रभु के बा को था पा। गंगार परशा हुईले पाश्चात पावन दर्शने पवित्र करो ए तो मार्गो हरि स्थाने अपराधे तारे हरि नाम तुम स्थाने अपराधे नहीं परित्राण तुम्हारा हृदय सदा गोविंद विश्राम गोविंद को वैष्णव पराम प्रति जन्मे कोरी आशा चरणे रधूली नरुता में करो दया पना जबो हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय O Vaishnav Goswami, please be merciful to me now. There is no one except you who can purify the fallen souls. Where does anyone find such a merciful personality by whose mere audience all sins go far away? After bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganges, many times one becomes purified. But just by the sight of you, the fallen souls are purified. This is your great power. The holy name delivers one who has committed an offense to Lord Hari. But if one commits an offense to you, there is no means of deliverance. Your heart is always the resting place of Lord Govinda. Lord Govinda says, the Vaishnavas are my heart. I desire the dust of your holy feet in every birth I may take. Please consider Narottam yours and be kind upon him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय समस्त भक्त वृंद की जय एकादशी महामहोत्सव की जय वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा माताजी थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare Krishna, Mataji.